Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Camppatton Family Compound. I got us up here on the side. So, it's Monday Night Fireside Chat, and tonight we are talking about canning soups. Oh, okay, I'm getting a little bit of feedback. I'm not sure much of what. Oh, there, it seemed to stop. Nope, now it's back again. Let's go up here and say hi to everyone that came in. First one in was Moon Over Miami, then Mad Chick Acres, hey Mark, and Failing Clan Wolf, Walt Rogers, it's the Marshmallow Man, and Tammy said hi from her personal channel. Then Kaylin's Train, Jay is in the house, Tammy saying hi from Rebel Canners, and Soldiers Girls Prepper is in, and I'm caught up. Yeah. No, Kaylin, that noise isn't coming from you. I'm not sure what it is. It may be all the interference from the sun affecting the internet. Hey, Rick, welcome in. Going to give it a few minutes here for everybody to come in and join us and give you guys some news of what I was doing today. If you saw earlier, I put out a video about the snow coming down this morning, and it came down pretty good. I would say about 45 minutes after I made that video, it slackened up a lot, and then about an hour later, it totally stopped. And by then, the temperature was 37 degrees. And at 4 o'clock this afternoon, it had been sitting at 41 degrees since noon. So guess what's that doing to all that snow? That 3.5, 4 inches of snow is down to, and the walkway lights, which had, it was piled up high on the walkway lights, it's gone. It's all melted off, and it's just catching up on the rest of it right now. But I lost track of the time today. I wasn't thinking, 8 o'clock Eastern time. I was thinking later, and I was in there working out on the Gazelle, doing my my late afternoon routine, and I just hit 600. I'm looking at the clock. Go, wait a minute, today's Monday. Oh crap! I ran back in here. Tammy was already waiting in the down below in the green room, and it was like, oh crap. But hey, we got it. We came up here. We're doing good. And Kaylin says you got up to 57 for her today.
Oh, if I hadn't checked my email, I wouldn't have been here either, because I forgot it was Monday too.
Oh yeah, it's been interesting.
And then baby came home today, so he got out of the hospital. Yep.
That was going to be the other question I was going to ask you before, and if you wanted to talk about. So obviously, you want to talk about it. Yeah. Tell us about him.
A little excited. Oh, he's so adorable. He is 4 pounds 12 ounces, so he's gained a little bit of weight. He's doing good. He got to come home finally, and they put him in the outfit I bought him to bring him home, which I didn't know they were going to do that. And so I'm very excited. It made my heart happy to see that, because I bought it for him. So, and he's in it. So that's always nice when you buy something and they put him in it. They like it.
Yeah.
So we'll see how they do.
And name?
I can't say it.
That's right. Okay, you're not going to say it to everybody else. But it is after an ancestor. Sort of.
Yes. He's
sort of.
Yes.
All right, that's all we're going to say. All right. And all right. So Chef Tech is watching on your side, and he's watching as Mad Chick Acres on my side. Teresa Church is here on your side.
Yeah.
Anybody else come in on your side? I'm going to go back up and double check. Yeah. Okay. So you got two in there watching on your side.
Thank you, guys.
Kaylin says his name is My Adorable.
Yes. Oh, yes, yes, yes.
What was funny along that lines, my older brother was Kevin. My younger brother is Jeff. However, because my dad insisted on naming me Guilford, my mom said, that's too big of a name for a little baby. And she wound up calling us my older brother Chum Lum. I was Chum Lum. Oh no, Chum One, Chum Fun, and Chum Lun. So I was Chum Fun. My baby brother was Chum Lum, and my older brother was Chum One. And that's what she called us probably till I was about 5 or 4. You know, she got around calling us our names, but then she goes, she always referred to us as Chum One, Chum Fun, Chum Lum.
Well, I just found out my
came in on your
niece,
side.
well, actually, great niece. Oh.
Yeah.
I just found out my great niece is also pregnant, and she is due in March very soon. And I was plugging some of more of those family names today, typing them away to her. Hey, name them this.
Yeah. Well, the budget preppers came in on your side.
Hi.
So for those who don't realize it, we're I'm the main host, but Tammy is streaming it to her channel as well. So you can watch on either channel, and that's what some people are watching on her side. Some are watching on my side. Some, like Mark, are watching on both sides with both his channels.
Thank you, Mark.
All righty. So interesting stuff in getting ready for tonight. I was doing some research and I found out some interesting stuff, and we'll talk about it as we do the slides here, because we're 12 and a half minutes in, so we might as well get on with this. And it looks like Marshmallow Man got ads. Mad Chick got an ad. Kaylin got an ad. I thought now they were putting ads on my other. Let me get rid of this banner here. Now they're putting ads on my regular videos for Camppatton Family Compound. They'd stop hammering the live stream so much, but no, they're greedy. All righty, so let me go over here and we'll go. Actually, I better put us back up on the side. All right, so I like this picture specifically because they got most of the stuff in there for souping in, and they're adding the extra liquid. So they put all the hard ingredients in first. But the jar on the left here says cur. The middle one's a cur, and the one with the funnel in it is a ball. Sounds like my mom. She had all sorts of bottles she was doing it. All right, so I just saw something. You can make just about any type of soup, and I found some interesting things I want to talk about too about it here. And so you can water bath soups. Oh, that sounds like being a rebel. That's like being my great grandmother and my grandmother. And you can steam some of them. However, and this is some of the information I found out today, you can't steam more than 45 minutes because you run a great chance of running out of water. And if you run out of water, your stuff's not going to process right, and you have a possibility of warping the pan and possibly cracking the jars.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
And then of course, there is pressure canning. And what's interesting is, what's interesting on this, I do have another picture after this. No, okay. So what's interesting about this? Oh, did you notice the lids in there? You got 2 superb lids, 2 balls, and I'm not sure what that other one is. It doesn't look like there's any marking on it at all. But they got some superb ball lids in there.
If it doesn't have any marking, it's probably in one of the other superbs, because for a while they didn't have the marking.
Right. Okay, so let's go here, and I'm going to drop that down, get that out of the way, and bring up. Okay. Come on, refresh. Let's do it. Been sitting there so long, the page went, eh. There we go. Okay, so I found this one here, and I'm not really advocating this because I disagree with some of the things, but they had some good warnings on it. All right, and this is the healthycanning.com, and of course it's got the ads popping up. And it talks about the soups and stuff. And here, this is what I disagree with. No, they must be pressure canned. The Amish don't pressure can. My grandmother doesn't pressure can. Yeah. But you got to be willing to spend the time to do it right if you're going to water bath. All right. There are two categories for recipes for home can. I want to go to where's the one that's talking about it. Guidelines from the bought and paid for USDA gives guidelines and stuff on it, And yes, I'm saying they were bought and paid for by a certain cartel known as the American Food. But there's these are the only reputable sources for canned soup recipes they list. And they don't say which university extension service. But it says USDA Bernardin, and whatever. Anyways, but they get down in here. All right. One of the things is it says you cannot. For instance, it's not guidelines say not to can thick puree soups, and then it says because the density is normally a problem with ensuring safety of home canned soups. I got to call cow poo poo on that one because I know for a fact my grandmother and great grandmother canned thick soups. You just got to do it for the proper amount of time. But here's the interesting thing: some soup recipes, though from the Barnandon and Ball break down both the puree and thick guidelines. For instance, they have a recipe for split pea soup that turns out to be thick and dense, and a recipe for pureed carrot soup.
And see, if you're doing the soup time, you have to make sure it's 50% liquid. If you're doing it for the longer solid vegetable time, it's longer. So you can get away with doing soups at a lesser time if they're 50% liquid. If they're not 50% liquid, then you have to use the longer standard time for the longest ingredient. So if you have meat in there, then you have to go the full 90 minutes to get a thick soup or stew.
Exactly. And why can't they say that? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm on a tear today. All right. Let me go. I'm on a tear on this today because that, when you look at the facts that years ago and the FDA used to approve and have in their book, their ancient book from back in the 70s and 60s, how to, the times for the longer times for the thicker soups and stocks and stuff like that. And then I'm going to say it. I don't care if I get dinged. Because all they'll do is just say, no, you can't say that. A certain group got paid off by another certain group to take that out because they want them just to buy the stuff from the store. I mean, it's like, hey, they want us under the thumb. Hey, Chipper66, how's it going? Virginia McFerrin came in on your side. Alrighty, so this is this is interesting. Guys, hang on to your rubble hats. All right, this is the 1943 Kerr cookbook. This is page 8, but I'm going to go back to show you the all right, there it is, the 1943 price, 10 cents. 10 cents. And, it goes through, talk about buying victory bonds and stuff. So, but here's interesting. It talks about, need sources and stuff, good thing. But here's something interesting, and this is on Tammy's Facebook page, Rebel Canner's Facebook page. That's where I downloaded this from. Here, vegetables, hot water bath times in minutes, 180, 180, 180, 120, 150, 210, 120, 180, 90 minutes, 180, da 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 da. And you get down to soups, 180, 240 for clam chowder, 240 minutes for fish soup, 180 for pea soup. Soup stock, 180. Using scraps down here at the bottom, I'll show the light up down there. You guys can't see it, but down there I'm trying to highlight, it says, use scrap meats, cover with water, season, blah, blah, blah. All right. So list the 180 minutes for that, for water bath. Over here it has pressure canning, and it has minutes and pounds. And most of the pounds are 10 minutes. Here's one, it's 5 minutes, 35 minutes for peppers, green sweet peppers. But it goes down on the soups. It's either 10 or 15 pounds for 40 to 90 minutes, depending on what it is. Oh, lost Tammy. And I froze. Over here on the other side, I have, it's interesting, is when you get down to meats, this one here took out, it has a hot water bath and pressure canning at 15 pounds, just 15 pounds. But all of these had water bath times in it. So you can do water bath. You just don't listen to the guys that have been paid off to say you can't. So, and it goes and it talks about all sorts of other things. And these are on, like I said, this is on, the PDF is on Tammy's Facebook page for Rebel Canners. And it talks about all the things you can do. And it goes through, and each original recipes also has the times, pressures, and stuff like that as well. So with that in mind, though, for steaming, like I said, there were very few things to steam because the steam has basically, you have a small amount of water in there.
Yeah, that's the advantage of steam canning. If you live in a country where you have, or a area of the country where you have a water shortage, or you're off grid and you have to haul your own water, steam canning is fabulous because you can use less water. But you can also have a teapot boiling on your stove and add some boiling water to keep it going too.
Yeah. I know for the for water bathing over 90 minutes, you gotta have a big kettle there ready to keep topping it off to keep the water level up above it. All right. Oh, and Ginger Ninja on this. So we just had Myra Page came in on your side. Then
Hi,
Geeky
Myra.
Gardens, How to Garden, and Ginger Ninja came in here. All righty. So, before I forget, Kaylin, you're still here. Could you do me a favor, Kaylin? Put in the chat Rebel Canner's YouTube page and my YouTube channels. That way, anybody can cross join. Also, Mark, can you put in? You can find it quickly, or when find the Rebel Canner's Facebook page and put that link in. And Kathleen Moran is here too. All right. So one of the interesting things about all this, I found out just, I've always been kind of really leery thinking about doing soups. I've heard all the malarkey about you can't do it this way, you can't do it that way, you can only do it in the pressure canner. And then remembering back, wait a minute. my grandmother used to can soups, and she didn't have a pressure canner at all. And then I just remember my aunt, my grand aunt, B, talking to her brother Frankie about missing all the soups that their mom canned back in the late 1800s, back on the farm. And I know they didn't have pressure canning back then. So yeah, it's I wish we had more Amish near us. That's about 3 hours away from us is a little Amish settlement up here in Idaho. I wish they were closer by so I could, like if it was only an hour away, I would drive out there more. I'd drive out there and talk to them.
Yeah, I live very close to a couple different Amish communities here in Michigan, so that's nice.
Yeah. Just hang on here. I'm looking for something. There it is. All right. All right. Kaylin's having problems with her thing here tonight. Let's see here. I'm going to throw something up here real quick. And give me a second, folks. There it is. All right. So for those on my side that are not subscribed to Rebel Canners, there's her link going in. And then and there is my link there. Okay, so everybody can cross join and check things out. All right. So anything else here? I'm just thinking here. So the only thing I had a question about, I take it you do steam canning too?
I do not have a steam canner, but I am knowledgeable about the process.
I was just wondering. All right, when I was looking, no one really talks about shows the pictures of how deep it is. How tall the.
It's about 6 inches of water. The water pan. It's like you turned your canner upside down. So you got about 6 inches of water, and you got a very tall lid that's about 18 inches tall, give or take. Mm-hmm. So it winds up being the same size as your canner overall, because the lid sits down in there to keep the steam in.
Now, I was just wondering.
And the newer ones have some gauges on the top that actually tell you how hot it's getting in there.
Yeah, I saw pictures of those with the gauges on them. In fact, let me. Of course, now if I do it on this computer, it'll probably show everything else that I couldn't find on the other computer.
Walmart sells them for about $50.
Yeah, all right, so here we have Amazon $59 for this one brand. And it looks like the same brand there is $59 at Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Amazon has a fancier one for $79. That's just a water bath. Water bath. Yeah. So looking at some. All right, here's one that actually showed. So it lifts it. It has the rack that lifts it fairly high up in the above, or maybe totally above the water, even almost.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I was wondering, how high up can you go to put how much water below, where you not have to put as much water as you would to do like at the quart jars, to have it above the top of the quart jars, but where you'd have more water so you could can longer than the what was it? I'm trying to remember what it said, 40 minutes or 90 minutes?
45
minutes. Yeah. So if you're doing like meats and stuff in there, you'd want to do it, a bit longer. So I was just kind of wondering. I mean, I'm just thinking outside the box here, folks. Oh, this one sets it totally up above. So it's just, the time wise of getting how much water you have in there, getting the water boiling, I guess. But anyways, so back to, just there's one of the things I'm wondering about, to think outside the box. All right, we got a bunch of people jumping over onto your side too, as well. How the Gardens now jumped over onto your side. Ginger Ninjas jumped over onto your side. So whether they're coming in on both sides separately or what, I don't know. Maybe we're both getting watch hours on it. All right. One of the soups that I would like to can, and this is one of the ones which I've heard good, bad, and ugly about, is simple chicken noodle soup. I've heard canning the noodles in the soup is not, it has problems unless you have special noodles like Campbell's uses. But you're muted.
Flour and egg, they'll get a little gummy and it winds up thickening your soup. What I like to do is you have to bring your food up to a boil and boil it for 5 minutes when you open it before you eat it anyway. You should do that with store-bought food. Even store-bought food, that's the standard.
Right.
I just like to add my noodles when I start that boiling time. So,
okay, so
when I'm heating it up to eat, I add my noodles.
Would be like to have a bunch of you just get a bunch of the packets of the ramen noodles.
Yeah.
And add it to your noodle soup.
Or just, regular egg noodles from the store, the dried egg noodles. I make my own noodles and I put them in the freezer. And then I have canned what I call chicken soup starter. I use it for several different things, but I just open the soup starter up, throw it in there, throw my noodles in, and the time it takes it to heat up, my noodles are cooked. So
now checked off just asked, can you make the soup condensed when you can it?
Like a condensed broth and then add water to it? Certainly you can. Certainly you can make a condensed broth and then add water to it. And there are some of those condensed soups. There are recipes in my Facebook group for some of the cream of chicken and cream of mushroom condensed soups too. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you can certainly make those at home.
Yeah. And if you have a freeze dryer, Mark is saying, add freeze dried egg noodles. That way that comes back quicker.
Yes. I am working on that freeze dryer. I am saving my pennies. I am working on that.
So I don't know. It's just that there seems to be so many great soup ideas when I was looking up. Of course, just about every soup I was looking up for, except for just almost the pure broth ones, were saying you have to pressure can them. But looking at the times from the 1943 book, which was what everybody was doing back then. Let's scroll to the right page here. Up too far. So like soups. All right, if you're doing fish, it says 4 hours basically for fish. Vegetable soups, mixtures, go with the longest vegetable time. So whatever soup it is, you need to go with the longest time.
Which means if you're doing a tomato-based soup and you're not adding like any other vegetables to it, that you could come within that 45-minute time or close thereof.
Yeah. And let's see here.
In pints, you would be under 45 minutes for a tomato base soup.
Yeah. I got to zoom this in so I can read this fine print on this, even on my monster screen over here. All right. So asparagus is 40 minutes. Asparagus soup in a pressure canner. 180 minutes in a water bath. So what would you say would be steaming that?
fun fact, the times for steam canning and water bath canning are exactly the same.
Okay, so that for asparagus soup would be 180 minutes. Clam chowder, fish chowder, and it would be 4 hours. Pea soup would be 3 hours. Soup stock with bits of meat, and so would be 3 hours. So basically, if you want a water bath and you're bored in the wintertime and you don't have anything else to do, because you got your heat up time to bring the pressure canner up to pressure. You got your 90-minute cooking time, and then you got your cool down time. It's almost the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
Start to finish, it's almost the same. It may be a half an hour or 45 minutes long of a water bath, but I know you can get a lot bigger luster. You can get a lot bigger water bath canners than you can a pressure canner. So you can get more jars in there. And so actually, if you're actually canning more soup in a big water bath than you can in a pressure canner. So if you're doing several loads, overall, it's quicker to do it in the water bath. And another batch of ads. Oh, man, come on, platform. They're getting greedy. Oh, well. 2 ads this time, Kaylin says. I'm waiting for Tammy to try to come back up here. So let me see if, yeah, so here's interesting stuff I'm going to bring this up over here. On this side here, I'm going to try to enlarge this a little bit more and then slide it over here. So maybe you guys can actually read it here. There we go. So meats, see notes on the page. Meats packed raw do not require additional liquid. And you got, here are your times for lamb, veal, beef, steak, pork, tenderloin, ham, pork chop, sausage, rabbit, chickens, duck, turkey, deer, wild birds, geese. All are 3 hours in the water bath. Fish of all kinds are 4 hours in the water bath. She's coming back in here, trying to. There she is. Oh, she's using the Red Baron.
We'll see what we can do here. I gotta see if I can get back in for if it's still streaming to my thing.
All right. Is anybody still? Is it still streaming on to Rebel Canner side? If you're watching her on the Rebel Canner side, make a comment, please. Now we can see if it's streaming over there.
Yeah, I can't log in.
Yeah, all right. Chef Tech says you're good. Still streaming to Rebel Canner side.
Beautiful then.
Okay.
Then I guess we're just going to use the Red Baron because not knowing it was Monday, I didn't charge my phone, and it's now dead.
Yeah. Okay, so I blew up the page here, and so for, I liked about the meats here. So it gave water bath times back in 1943 was recognized as 180 minutes for just about all meats. All fish was 240 minutes, so 3 hours and 4 hours. And these times were probably in existence for the previous, 60, 70 years. So, so basically, if you have a pressure canner and you can get, how many quarts can you get in one of your pressure canners?
Quarts, 7 generally.
All right, 7 quarts in a pressure canner. In my mom's huge water bath one, it took 2 of us to pick the half-gallon jars up out of there. She got 12 half-gallon jars in that one.
Yeah, she had a big one. That's a big boy.
That's one you use for bathing the baby in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so you
Yeah.
for quarts, I think it was like 18 quarts we had in there. It basically took two of us. We'd pick it up. Two of us would pick it up, or
Oh,
at least
yeah.
16 quarts or whatever. But yeah, it took two of us to pick it up when it was
Yeah.
full. So water
I think
bathing,
my
you could do twice as many quarts in that in about the same time, approximately, as pressure canning 7. So
yeah.
actually, water bathing in a big water bath, you can water bath more in a day.
Geeky Gardens says they were using the cane syrup cooker to water bath, and they could do 100 jars at a time. I've seen those big square ones. Somebody else mentioned it. I can finally see the chat now. Um, Trade off with the Red Baron as I can see the chat.
Yeah.
Caitlin said it. Homestead Tessie has one of those Amish square ones that you put over 2 burners on your stove, and she can get quite a bit in that one. And I've seen that too. They sell those at Lehman's Hardware too. Lehman's Hardware.
Okay.
I always pronounce it wrong.
Yeah.
Forgive me.
So yeah. So technically, when it comes to doing even doing meats and stuff, if you're doing small batches, pressure canning, if you're doing a big monster batch and you'll be doing it all day long and doing several batches, water bath, you'll get more done. But you got to do it for the full time.
Yes. No
You
cheating
can't
on that.
you don't cheat 1 minute on that. You do it for the full time.
Oh, the 930. Thank you, Mark. The All American 930 is the one that you can double stack the quarts. I have the 921, and I think I can do 9 in there, depending on whether they're wide mouth or small mouth.
Yeah.
And then my Presto does 7.
That's why I so wanted to get the 940 or 941. It's the 41 quart monster. That would have been one because we have all these half-gallon jars my mom had, and then my wife went and bought a bunch more, so I bought a bunch more. So now we got a lot of half-gallon jars, but we can water bath as well. I saw a challenge.
Yes. No gaskets needed. That is wonderful. And those things, I mean, you'll be passing those down to your grandchildren. Becca has one that was her great grandmother's, and it's still beautiful.
Yeah. Years ago, and I had totally forgot about it, I had bought my wife the 921. I'm just trying to think back. Okay. Around 2005, 2007, I bought her one, and she got it, and she goes, "Well, I'll use this later. We'll get when we have time to do stuff." And it got put away, and she forgot about it. Then I fixed my mom's Presto 21 quart, and my wife goes, "Wait a minute, didn't you buy me one?" And she went digging for it. Yes, it's an All-American. A couple of weeks later, a friend of ours who, I'm the same age as their kids. Okay. So they're like extra parents for me. We used to go over to their house and hang out at the Ernstrom's house all the time, along with hanging out at the Whipple's house. And she had passed away a couple of years ago, and he was getting rid of a lot of stuff. He's moving out of the state to go live with where his 2 boys are down in another state. And he called her up and said, "Hey, you want all of my wife's canning stuff?" My wife, the accountant, "Sure, I'll come over. I'll bring over," and came over with boxes of jars and a 921 All-American. So yeah, so now we got 2 921 All-Americans and the 21 quart Presto. So we got 3 21 quart canners. And I got a 2-burner Camp Chef stove here. I got this 2-burner indoor-outdoor propane stove, which in the summertime can go outside of one of the tables out there. And in California, I got the 3-burner Camp Chef, stove, outdoor stove. So we can do a lot of canning in the summertime outdoors.
I have, I'm not going to tell you how many canners I have, but my favorite one is the one that All American gave me that has my name on it and is gray and has my logo on it because Lehman's Hardware embossed it on my canner for me. So,
cool.
Shout out to both of those.
And is that the enamel coated one?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it is a beautiful gray, and then they embossed. They took that off. Mm-hmm. They have a special tool at the hardware store there in Kidron, Ohio. If you're in town, take your canner, and they can put your name. Becca got her family, and the year that her family was established, put on hers, and so that was one of my friends from our Facebook group was there at the same time, and she was getting hers done right after ours, and I got to meet her, so that was really cool too.
Okay, just to go, Mark's thing would be careful with the BTUs on the big stoves. Yeah, basically you need to get a 1/4-inch steel plate, same size as the bottom of the canner, put it on there, and it's a diffuser. But you can just get some, go to a metal shop, whatever, and get a 1/4-inch or 1/8-inch steel plate, put it on there, put the canner on. That diffuses the heat across. So it's not just the flames where the flames are heating that spot. It diffuses and gives it an even heat.
If you go to your propane company, they do have an adapter. If you're using something like a turkey fryer where your BTUs are way in excess of what you need and will warp your canner, there is an adapter that they can put on your turkey fryer, which are sometimes those are a lot more stable the way they're designed than some of the camp stoves. They can do that adapter that will bring it down so that it cannot do the high BTUs. I don't know the name of that part, but if you walk in and tell them what you want, pressure regulator, thank you. They can actually put, it's a restrictor, a restricting pressure regulator. They can actually put that on your turkey fryer and make it safe to can on.
Yeah, and that gives you more control for the knob on it.
Yes. Adjustable pressure. Thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you go in, they are fabulous. Where I got my stuff done, I actually had an antique gas stove, cast iron gas stove. I took it in. The guy cleaned it, checked it, made sure that it was safe to use, and then he didn't charge me anything because I got my tank filled there. So I thought that was really wonderful. I was expected to pay for all that. He's like, no, we do this as a courtesy.
Cool. Again, for them, it's a public relations safety thing. So it's like, they can keep people from having accidents and not having it blamed on their gas or their propane system, then they're all for it, covering.
Yes. And of course, this was, a nice older gentleman with local community ties and old-fashioned values that really showed through with his customer service.
All right. So with all of what I've been learning over the last 2 weeks, really digging into this here, in what little time I have during the last 2 weeks, because all last week I had grandkids over here, just about every day. One of the things I want to try to do is a thick potato soup. Of course, that's going to have to be a longer time. But I don't, most soups, other than chicken noodle soup and tomato soup, I don't like thin soups. Mm-hmm. I'm more of a chowder type guy, potato chowder, beef chowder. I like it nice and thick and almost like a stew, or just so it's not big chunks like you do in a beef stew, but small pieces but thick stuff. Where I put it on a spoon, it stays on a spoon. I have to worry about sloshing off as I bring it up to my mouth.
Yes. Here's a trick. Okay, you can can it thin and then add instant mashed potatoes to thicken it. So you can use the chunks, can it with the soup broth, and then when you're cooking it, if it's too thin, you can always add some instant mashed potatoes to make your potato soup a little thicker.
Yeah. Mashed potatoes is a great thickener, and it's not like cornstarch or stuff like that where it's Yeah,
and if you can potatoes, in the bottom of the jar, there'll be about 2 inches of this gooey slime. And I always get all these questions about, are my canned potatoes safe because they have this gooey slime? That is called potato starch, and it gets freeze dried and made into a thickener, and it's a lot additive in a lot of foods. But you can also save that potato water off your canned potatoes if you're using just canned potatoes to make quick soups. You save that potato water, include it because it is a thickener.
Cool. Chili thickness, yeah. I like my chili thick too. Yeah. Almost like burrito filling, because it's I like to be able to stand my spoon up in my chili.
I like to eat chili with bread and butter. And I don't like it when the chili all falls off my slice of bread. I want it to stick on the bread.
Yeah.
Yes, you can also make sourdough starter from potato water, but not the canned potato water, because hopefully you've killed a lot of the stuff you'd want in your starter.
My dad has been canning chili for almost a year now. Any fun tips for that? All right.
At Caitlin.
Yeah.
I make a bigger pot of chili, and I always just can. I plan for leftovers, so I pull enough out to fill my canner, and then what's left I let my kids eat, because if I don't, they'd eat the whole pot, no matter how big I made it. So I always plan. This is what I call planned leftovers. I make the pot of chili to can, and then let them eat the leftovers.
Yeah, one of the soups my wife is going to want to can is she's taken a recipe and modified it, to make it to her taste, of taco soup.
Yes, that's a popular one.
Yeah, she does taco soup with beef. She does taco soup with turkey. She does taco soup with chicken. Yep. Depending on the season of the year, what she has and everything else. And it's that's going to be one that we probably will be canning a lot, because I know the one time she did it up here, 3 of the 4 grandkids liked it. The 4th one is always very picky on what he'll eat.
Yeah.
I mean, Eli would not. When he was young, he would have the cheese sticks like his brothers would, and all of a sudden he doesn't like cheese sticks anymore. He doesn't like the texture. However, my daughter discovered 2 weeks ago that he likes sliced Munster cheese on bread with mustard, and now that's his favorite sandwich.
Well, it's a protein. Cheese is a protein, so.
Yeah. So now it's not always peanut butter and jelly. It's now Munster with mustard. On the chili, the only tip I can say is, once you get it seasoned to how you like it, you can replicate it. Write that recipe down.
Write down all your experiment recipes too, how you get there, because you never know when you open it up if that's going to be the one.
Right.
One year I canned 22 variations of pickle recipes, and I thought I would remember which was which because they were so different from each other, and I didn't. And so I have to start all over again with which pickle recipe do we like out of all of those.
Yeah. Yeah, soups are to me, soups are probably the best thing to can for meals. Just thinking, because hey, you can open it up, boom, it's the ultimate one jar meals. It's like the one pot meal. It's soups. It's and you do find the soups recipes you like, and there are hundreds out there, folks. And you don't have to do it exactly like they have it. A lot of them will say season to taste. Well, you can do a lot more changes to taste in making that soup recipe. And once you have it, write it down. Shoot, I was going to bring it in here. I forgot. I have my grandmother's old home and gardens, with the red and white checkered recipe book.
I have my mom's. Yes.
And it has my grandmother's writing in it, and it has notes that said Granny's recipe, which was her mom's recipe tweaks. And then my mom got hold of it and started making notes on her changes to a recipe. I mean, so that book is like, that's almost like the family Bible. My sister tried to find it when my mom died. My sister tried to find it. Oh, it was already in our kitchen, and there was a note on it, a pasted note on it from my mom saying, "This is for Chris. Leave it alone, Mary Angel." Telling my sister to leave it alone in case she's found it in there. She never did, and so we just kind of played dumb. Well, maybe somebody grabbed it.
I have my aunt's copy, and this is not it. I was looking at because I knew I had two of them over here. This is the Burdan and Kerr books. But I have my aunt's 1970 ball book that my mom borrowed, and it has notes from both of them in the margins. Yeah. And that is one of my most prized possessions, because it'll say, 1972, we made this recipe, and whatever they changed in it. And then they both share the book back and forth and write notes to each other in it.
Well, all right, checked off. When I was born in 1957. Granny was still alive, probably for another. I think she died when I was 10 in 1967. So, I mean, she was almost 100 years old. I think she was 98 and a half. Or maybe she was 101. I'm trying to remember all the ancestors. They were long lived. And so when she passed away, there's a photo of her, my grandmother, my mom, and my sister. 4-generation photo. So of women.
Yeah, my grandmother lived into her 80s, but my mother was 43 when she had me, and so that's
okay. Let me think. Okay, my grandmother was born in 1899. She died the year I got married, which was 88. So she was she wasn't quite
99.
She was 89. She was 89 when she died. Her her mom was at least 10 years older than her when Granny was 10 years older when she died. But my grandmother smoked like a freight train, going up a steep grade. Seriously, she'd be sitting there knitting. She had one cigarette in this hand as she's knitting. She had one in her mouth. She had two in the ashtray going, and she'd be knitting along, and she'd pick up another one. Oh, I got one in my mouth. Oh, okay. She'd forget how many. She was just sitting there knitting and just keeping busy and just smoking cigarettes. But that
my mom told.
That was her vice, was cigarettes.
My mom told a story about her grandmother keeping a pipe behind the wood stove in the kitchen. And they were always told that it was Grandpa's pipe, except it was always freshly smoked. You could smell the tobacco smoke when you'd come in. She'd hide it if she was smoking and you were coming in.
And thinking about it, folks, we're going to go off slightly off the little health issue here. Our ancestors that were smoking still lived very long. Why were they able to live when they were smoking? Because what they ate was good food, and their bodies had good nourishment coming in to counteract the effects of the tobacco. Unlike today, where you get sick just eating all this fast food and crap food.
Well, they also didn't put the preservatives and additives into the tobacco back then.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily. I want to say I don't condone smoking. I don't smoke, but the tobacco isn't what causes the issues. It's all the stuff they put in there and the chemicals they use to grow those things that are causing the issues, not necessarily the tobacco itself.
Yeah, the glyphosates and stuff like that, they spray on it to kill off everything else but the tobacco. Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you rather eat fast food every day or smoke every day? Neither.
I'm not going to do either.
Yeah.
Nope. Pass.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, go ahead.
Tomorrow is a 14-hour day for me, so I will actually pack 2 lunches and take my own food with me, so I don't have to eat fast food when I'm out. So, yeah. Hi, Howie.
Hey, Howie. It's Food Forest Permaculture. And everybody that's over on Tammy's side, watching on Tammy's side, check out Food Forest Permaculture. You want to talk about how to grow healthy food and stuff? Howie is the man.
Yes. I know
like
I've
he
said
says,
this.
plant a food.
Go ahead.
All right, so we're coming up on the hour mark here. All right. Are you going to go live this week?
If I do, it'll be tomorrow around noonish.
All right, so everyone keep an eye out
Thursday. Thursday at noon.
Thursday at noon, keep an eye out for a pop-up notification. That's noon Eastern time for a pop-up notification of Rebel Canners going live. Hey, Bob. All right, so tomorrow night on my other channel, Gray Man Prepping, is we're going to talk about start with stocking up your bathroom, and we'll move to other rooms of what essentials you need to stock up for, especially what's coming with the supply chain in the next couple months here. Friday night back here on Camppatton Family Compound, it's natural disasters that change the weather and affect your garden. Saturday back on Gray Man, we have Bill Nash, owner of Nash Nurseries, coming and talk to us about trees, nut trees, fruit trees, and other trees. And he's up there in Michigan. What's the state shaped like a hand?
Mm-hmm.
Michigan. Okay, so he's up there in Michigan.
He's from Michigan.
Yeah. So he'll be in, and I'm going to be picking his brain on.
Too far from me.
Yeah, and I'm going to be picking his brain on best fruit trees and nut trees for northern climates. Hey, he's up in Michigan. Because this spring we're going to be planting a bunch of trees here in Idaho, and we're almost the same zone as he is. So I want to get that up there to get that going there. So that's what's coming up on Saturday, next Monday. The topic is tempered glass jars and cookware. So we're going to talk about your canning jars, the ones that are tempered glass, the ones that are not tempered glass anymore, the ones that are cheap glass now, and the same thing with the cookware with Pyrex. Then the 3 different types of Pyrex and some of the other cookwares and stuff. So we're going to be talking about that on next Monday. And I've gotten people sending me information on it, and I'm getting conflicting information from the representatives of and their website. So we're going to be exploring all sorts of fun stuff next Monday. And I got a bunch of other fun stuff coming up. If you have any suggestions you want to see either on Camppatton Family Compound or Gray Man Prepping, or even for Tammy, you can email Tammy with those suggestions. If you have suggestions for my channels, send it to the Camppatton Family Compound at gmail.com. And I get a lot of, in fact, the one next Monday was suggested by one of the viewers. So, all right, Tammy, you got a long day tomorrow. We're going to let you go. We're going to wrap this up here now. And just as a reminder to everybody, stay happy no matter what life throws at you. Stay safe. Don't do anything foolish. Keep adding to your preps: water, food, medicines, clothing, canning jars, pressure canners, water bath canners. And if you're not a canner, learn to can. Learn that skill.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thanks for coming in, and we will see you around. And come on.